There we go. We are live and in living color. Welcome to another fantastic episode of This Week In Reselling, where we interview, I'm still saying the old one, where I have a little help with my friends. Here we'll discuss the highs and lows of reselling and dive into great conversation. We're positive that you're going to hear something that's going to help you become a better reseller. I'm your host, Ray. I'm joined with my two lovely co-hosts.
Hello, my name is Bruce Wayne, and welcome to the rest of your life.
And I am Clark Kent, and I'm the greatest there is.
Do you think Clark Kent's better than Bruce Wayne?
No.
And yeah, of course.
Batman would beat Superman. He overthinks everything.
Who? Batman?
Yes. He would have kryptonite on him, so the punches from Superman would not hurt as bad, and you could just, weaken the guy.
Gotcha.
Batman way overthinks everything and knows how.
He's paranoid. Same. Just put it out.
Your thoughts, Ray?
About Batman and Superman?
Right.
See, I'm a little 50-50, and this is the reason why. See, Superman is Superman. That's who he is. That's like not his disguise or whatever. His disguise is Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's like, because he's like an alien from another planet and he has all these like superheroes. And it kind of, I don't know, there's like a lot into like psychological to where it's like, as people in the life and in this world, sometimes you have to like change who you are to be able to fit in. But then like knowing that who you are is really like way special than who you're trying to be kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's what I think. So it's like, that's kind of why I like Superman. But I like Batman he's just a rich dude. Just like you, Joe.
Like me.
I mean, not on that level. Not on that level, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a whole...
Yeah, which on the recording of this podcast, Joe, I don't know how you're doing today or not, but the stock market is taking a huge dive. I don't know if your money that you've invested into your stocks is taking a big hit. Warren Buffett is selling off all of his stocks, all of his shares. They say it's the worst stock market deal in a long time. Japan's losing money. Everyone's losing a ton of money today.
Start playing the REM song. It's the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So the thing with Joe though is he stores all his money in the walls of the properties that he owns. So he doesn't
gold bars. Is gold being affected by this?
Yeah,
probably not. It's only going up. That's why I only invest my money in Pokemon cards.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Right.
Hey, just don't wash those.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But guys, today we have a very special guest. I wanted to have my good friend Brian with Jack's Treasures. So everyone give a round of applause for our good friend Brian with Jack's Treasures. Brian, how is going, my friend?
Everything is going really good with us. I am Diana Wonder Woman. So everybody else is get to be a persona. I guess I have to choose the other big one that's from DC Comics.
There you go.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Fitting.
Yeah. The best looking one, some would say, Brian.
I don't know about that.
Uh-huh. But Brian, tell us a little bit about you for the people that might not know. Give us in this case, I used to say it all the time, your origin story. See what I did there, Joe?
Good one.
Well, Tracy and I have been selling for about 15 to 20 years on eBay. And I had no idea about the reselling community whatsoever. I didn't know about YouTube resellers or anything like that. And Tracy's the one that convinced me to start looking at that stuff. I was a teacher before I did all of this, and it was miserable. It was affecting my health. Really, really bad too. I got shingles. I don't know have y'all ever got shingles before?
I've had shingles before, and it was stress-induced shingles. And it was only on the left side of my body. And the doctor said that that's like a common thing.
How does that work?
I thought I had I couldn't remember. I thought I had hand, foot, and mouth or something.
Oh,
And so I went to like the urgent care, and they're like, "Yeah, you have shingles." I'm like, "Are you under like a lot of stress?" I'm like, I guess." And then you kind of like go back in your memory. You're like, "Man, I guess I am stressed out." And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
your boy had shingles.
man.
Yeah,
I'm
mine was
looking at
very, very similar. Very, very similar. I was told I got married when I was 49, and not even 2 years later after I got married, I was informed that I had prostate cancer. And that
Oh
happened right
wow.
during the
That's
school year.
crazy.
So then, like 2 months later, I get this really sharp pain, and mine hit me on the side of the face, and I get this really sharp pain. I go to the ER, and they say you have shingles, and I'm like, okay. And the guy says he starts walking out. I'm like, whoa, 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 where are you going? And he goes, well, you want to shop for pain? And I'm like, that's why I'm here, because I need something for the pain. It blew up all on the side of my face. I almost lost my eye. It was pretty bad. I was in the hospital for like 2 or 3 days, and that was miserable. And that was all caused by the stress of, one, known cancer, and two, teaching. And so I said, I got to do something other than teaching. And I had been dabbling with selling on eBay for, 3 or 4 years before that, but nothing very serious. And then Tracy and I went into it full time, and I have been full time for 8 years now, and we make a living, and it's a good living too. So we really enjoy it.
So how long was it? What was that transition? How long ago?
It was 8 years ago that I stopped teaching, and
Were you teaching like in a public school, like high school, middle school?
yeah, I
Like,
taught middle school and high school. My first and my last years teaching were at the high school level, and my 17 years in between that I taught in middle school.
wow.
So
It's funny
and I
how
taught social studies.
it's not. There is like a weird correlation with like teachers retiring and moving into the reselling space. That's like a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of resellers out here that move or there were teachers before. So yours was more of like, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna do like, how did that even like come about? Like, where did that even? What thought process did that come
Well,
from?
Tracy's been doing it a lot longer than I have. She actually
Oh,
started
okay.
doing it about probably 25 years ago. I did it out of necessity. I needed to keep the lights on after I got a divorce. I needed to keep the lights on, so I started selling stuff on eBay. And then when we got together, we found out that we both like to yard sell. We both like to buy storage units, and that was one of the things. We had never bought a storage unit before, and about 5 years ago now, it's coming up on 5 years. We bought 8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Coming up
Time
on
flies.
8 years. Yeah. And we bought our very first storage unit. We actually bought 3 on the same day, and it was the day before Thanksgiving. So we go and we rented a truck and did all of that stuff and got all that stuff. And ever since then, we've been hooked on buying storage units. And from that, it morphed into, well, we got to get rid of the stuff. So I got to do more eBay. And it was hard to do eBay while I was working full time as a teacher, even though during the summer I had the summers off and I could knock it out and I could take off holidays. But then because of just it was miserable. It was really miserable. I absolutely hated it, and I didn't want to go to work because teaching changed from when I started. I started teaching. I had taught for 18 years, so 8 years. So you're talking 26 years ago when I started teaching. I started teaching late. It was fun, and I could do what I wanted to do, and then it became a thing where no, it wasn't fun anymore. And we loved going yard selling. We love buying storage units. So we talked about it and we said, yeah, we're going to take a hit on income for a while. But we were able to make that back pretty soon and then do that plus some.
Nice. So the majority of your items that you source, is it from garage sales and storage units? Like, what would you say, 50-50 or 80-20?
It used to be probably 70% storage units and then 30% yard sales. Right now, it's probably opposite, only because I don't have the space. We bought a couple of really, really, really big units. We bought 3. I'm sorry. We bought 3 units that were 10 by 20s that were full, and it was an Amazon seller. And the funny thing is he was a teacher, and he was doing it himself. And he just got in way, way, way over his head and couldn't maintain it. He had, I think, what did they say, 20-something units and lost them all. And we've got that one. And because of what we paid for that unit, I can sell all that stuff on Whatnot for like pennies on the dollar, and I'm still making money on it. And so right now it's definitely more of yard sales than it is storage units, because I have all of that stuff for storage units right now in the backlog.
Gotcha. Joe, have you ever purchased? I feel like maybe you had said you purchased a storage unit some in the past.
I haven't purchased a storage unit, but somebody reached out to me last summer. His mom passed away in March, and he had to clean out a unit by the end of August. And through a friend, he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to help me? You can take whatever you want. I'll sell it to you for dirt cheap." I'm like, "Sure, let's try this. I've never done a storage unit." I got probably 7 huge, big Christmas boxes of ornaments that I made just a ton of money on.
I bet.
Helped him, run stuff to Goodwill, throwing stuff in my garbage, whatever, helping him out for like 3 or 4 days. And then at the end, he's like, "You know what? You helped me way more than you need to. Don't you owe me anything." So I got all of it for free.
Wow.
Which is awesome. How did that pan out?
Knowing that, looking at it, there's a lot of work that, doing that stuff, because it's like, okay, there's good stuff, and then there's the trash that is just like, okay. Nicole and I would love to do it sometime, but it's like, I'm like, okay, like she said, we got to have that garage ready to take stuff and put in there, and then it's like, okay, now, what do you do with it?
That's funny. That's funny that you mentioned that, because, Dustin and I, we usually like to bounce ideas off of each other and just kind of do stuff. He's always wanted to do storage units. He's like, "Man, we just need to go and get a storage unit." I'm like, "Do you know how much work that is? You don't have the time. None of us have the time to do that right now." And then they give you and Brian, you could probably speak on this, less than a week to get it cleaned out.
Yeah. They give you 3 days.
Couple days. 3 days.
3 days.
3 days. For the most part. I will say it's kind of funny that Ray was saying that he wants to buy storage units. One of the 2 of the best units that Tracy and I had ever. My wife's name is Tracy. She's in the background over here.
Shout out to Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah.
Howdy.
She said, but 2 of the units that we literally got up near Ray. Matter of fact, one of them, we stayed in Hendersonville to get the unit. And it was a guy that, Ray, have you ever been to McKay's?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he worked there, and he was taking a lot of the stuff, or buying a lot of the stuff from McKay's and sticking it all in the storage unit. So we ended up with, and I'm not exaggerating, probably about 400 games, systems, at least, and all kinds of records and all kinds of media. And it was a 20 by 40, and it took us 2 trips in my truck, because I'm in Atlanta. It took us 2 trips in a U-Haul to go get it. Now, they let me rent the unit for another month. I had to pay for another month unit rental, because I couldn't get it in 3 days, because there was so much stuff in it, I couldn't get it all in the truck. But it was right up there by Ray. But that was one of the best units we ever got, and also one of the most time consuming, because he didn't pack anything. So when we got the unit, we had to go rent boxes, make these boxes up, and we buy the unit. 0% chance of snow. It snows.
Of course.
When was this?
February
2021.
February 2021. Yeah.
That town may or may not be the exact town where I live, Brian. Just saying.
21 or 22.
Well, it's right next. I know it's right next door to Hendersonville, because we stayed at the Holiday Inn Express in Hendersonville.
Gotcha.
And then,
so you was probably towards Gallatin.
Yes.
The next town.
It was Gallatin. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And he had 4 units, and we had been on it for a long time. He kept paying on it, and we had it tagged. So whenever it came up, we knew to bid on it, because we could see everything. You could see everything that was in this unit. And that's also the most expensive unit we ever got. We paid $8,500 for that unit.
Dang,
$8,000. And then another 4 units came up, and at a different location that were his also. And we were on all 4 of them at one time. And I was like, "Tracy, I don't know what we're gonna do if we get that, because it's just me and you, but I'll hire some help. We'll get some help up here." That one, we were on all 4, and we ended up getting one, and we got the cheapest one. We ended up paying, I think, $7,000 for that, which was really good because at one time we were on all three and we were over $25,000. And I was like, I don't know where we're going to come up with the money if we get all of these, but I'll put a second mortgage on the house. But they were well worth it.
So
but we only got one.
So
Joe right now has $25,000 in his pocket right now.
Cash.
Joe, you give me a loan. If a good unit comes up, I'll contact you.
My ADHD is acting up a little bit, Joe. Does your shirt say Flip?
It does. It's a band from the 90s. I found it at a Goodwill, and I'm like, I think it's like either a Wisconsin or a Minnesota band, and they had one hit wonder. I don't even know. I can't remember the song.
That's kind of cool.
Right. I thought so too. I'm like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy,
maybe we should.
The guy that goes to my Goodwill every day, he calls me up and he's like, there's a cool shirt. I know I don't sell shirts, but you might even just want to keep it. I ran over and I grabbed it. So
I think we need to start a band. Can you play any instruments, Brian?
No.
Brian,
Tracy can.
I feel like
I cannot.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
We got what does Tracy play?
Yeah, what does Tracy play?
Saxophone?
Yeah.
She plays the saxophone.
Oh, for sure we need a saxophone player.
Oh,
yeah.
Brian can sing. Tracy can play the saxophone.
Yeah. Okay,
Brendan, you look like a drummer.
I can do it. I'll try it.
I mean, my daughter, but she's not.
I feel like
she can be part of the band too.
I feel like if we're gonna have a saxophone in the band, we gotta like dress in all velvet or something like that.
Yes, real sexy.
Yeah.
I can definitely manage that one. Tracy and I have a great time doing that kind of stuff. We have a lot of fun with that. But Ray, I didn't hear what instrument you were going to be playing.
I'll probably play the bass.
I'll
play the bass.
So
just
not the triangle,
get the groove, not the triangle, or the cowbell. It's
got cowbell. I could do that. We just got a cowbell in the unit we got last week. So
Joe can play the guitar. He can dress up like a little schoolboy and play the guitar. Like what is that guy's name from AC/DC?
Angus Young.
Angus Young. Okay.
Come on.
Is that the one that just died? Or like last year?
His brother died.
His brother died? Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. Malcolm.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a band that I saw in the 80s that I hate to say this, but I don't remember seeing them. But it was in South Florida during the 1980s, and I was in my late teens or early 20s, so we won't say anything more. But my friend says, "Yeah, we went to go see them," and I said, "We did?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't remember that."
That's crazy.
Been there.
Touching back to the subject at hand, Brian. So you had $7,000 in one unit and then $8,000 invested in another unit for a total of my $13,000. Public school education,
which I was a part of.
Yeah. So were you able to recoup all your money? Like, was it that good of a unit that you were willing to drop $8,000 on?
Yeah, there are some units that when you see them, I know y'all have watched like Storage Wars and things like that, and obviously they plant stuff in there. But this unit that when we saw it, we could see all of the money that was in it. And Tracy's really good about doing research because I don't do none of that. I just do all the bidding and stuff. And she did research, and we found out that the guy that owned it got an inheritance, and we saw his Facebook page had all of these video game systems and video games and cases and all of this stuff in it. And I literally, when I run my Whatnot show, I have a show that I do nothing but untested consoles. And that's all that I do. And it's actually one of my biggest money making shows that I do on Whatnot. And it's only because I haven't even gotten through all the inventory. And we bought these things 3 years ago. I still haven't gotten through all the inventory on that.
That's crazy.
But it's great because it's got me to a point now where I can throw up 2 or 3 consoles and throw in all of these like little junky things, and the little junky things sell because everybody's in there and they see the consoles. So I make money. It's helping me to bring the people in, and then I hook them, and then they buy.
I don't think a lot of people know to do that on Whatnot, especially now that I'm almost like a year in. Like titles, thumbnails are somewhat important. And then you have to have like something that gets the people there. You know, like
So-
even if it's isn't gonna sell what you want it, at least you get the people to your show, and then from there maybe they're liable to buy other things. And you know what's funny, and I'll compare that to whenever I go to, and I know I always bring this up, but this is what's on my mind. When I go to like a trading card show, people usually have like 2 or 3 cards that are like hitters, like really expensive cars, and they put them in their case, and people look at them and it draws them to the case. But that might be a card that it's like part of their collection that they put like an astronomical price on it. It's there, if it's the right price, of course they're going to sell it. But it's kind of like get the people to the table, and then from there maybe they'll browse and buy some other things. But Brian, so you were doing eBay before, and now you're transitioning a little bit into Whatnot. How has that been for you, especially you doing the storage units? I bet that's really helped a ton.
Yeah, and actually I have you to thank for that, because literally probably
You're welcome.
5 months ago, about 5 months ago, Tracy and I, we were doing Whatnots, and they were not fun. We weren't getting but maybe 5 or 6 people in the room. We were selling like, I don't know, $16 in an hour. And we were contemplating just dropping it and then concentrating fully on eBay. But with the problem with us in eBay is I can't carry our inventory with us. And we wanted to travel because I'm retiring. I'm getting my teacher retirement in a couple of months. And so we want to do a lot of traveling. Tracy comes into me one day and she says, "Hey, would you like to go to Nashville? There's this big meetup thing." And I said, "Okay." This thing keeps falling out of my ear, Tracy. Thanks. So she says, I said, "Yeah, we'll go up there." And so when we went up there, I was introduced to, I first met Ken and Jill, SSK Promo. And then we met the Bearded Picker, Scott, and we met some other people. And from that point on, I started to understand that there was a huge community out there of resellers. I did not have anything to do with any of the resellers, which is funny because I was on another resellers podcast, and I had no idea I was on it. He was doing something.
What do you mean you had no idea?
I was on a video. I was on a video. I'm sorry, it was a video.
Oh, I thought
he was videotaping.
I'm still confused.
Yeah, that's a whole.
I'm still confused.
Okay.
You got to give us some context of that story.
Sounds like the Truman Show. Like,
right?
Yeah. Well, okay. This was another one of those big purchases that Tracy and I did. We were at an estate sale, and at an estate sale, you cherry pick. All you're doing is you're looking for those things that you can cherry pick, get them out of there, get them at the cheapest price you can get them, and move on. Well, we were at an estate sale that me and Tracy were looking around, and I was like, if we try to cherry pick this, it's going to take us a week. So I told her, I said, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer the estate sale company a buyout, and we're going to buy out the entire estate sale.
God,
and little did I know,
I would never do that.
It was good. It was really good because it happened right before COVID. It happened right before COVID hit. So we got all of this inventory that we ended up buying it out. But back to the story, the Buffalo Picker, and do you remember what his name was?
What is his name?
He's got his own channel. He goes live on Sunday nights. He had Paul on it the other night. Well,
okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he was recording it. I had no idea. And we popped into that show because Paul was on it, and I like to see how Paul does. He's funny as all get out. And I'm like, and Tracy says, "That's the guy who was recording us." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, we bought out this estate sale. He recorded us, and he nicknamed me the White Whale." He said, "This guy just came in. It was like one of his most popular videos." He says, "He's not White Whale, Whale Shark." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "How did I get all this big?" And I had no idea about any of this stuff. And I know I sound like, "Oh yeah, he threw in $7,000." Well, we had that. I had saved that. The other $8,000 that went on a card. This other $7,000, we barely had that, but we did have. They wanted $15,000, and I told them, I said, "No, I can't do $15,000." Well, we bought out the estate sale. They gave me a week to clean it all out. We got it all out, and then COVID hit like 2 months later, And when COVID hit, our eBay business went up like 400% because all of the stuff that was in it was stuff that would not sell normally, like paperback books, comic books, other things, because you couldn't go out and do anything. So people were buying all of our books, and we were making money all over the place.
His name's Tommy.
Oh, Tommy. Yeah,
Tommy,
his name is Tommy.
right.
Yeah, Tommy. And I told him the story. He started laughing on his own live show. He goes, I do remember you. And I'm like, I remember somebody being there and having the GoPro, but I didn't put two and two together because I was like, nobody really wants to see what I'm doing. I didn't think anything of it. But that happened. But then when we went to the meetup, I had a chance meeting with Paul, and Paul invited us to do his Ray Train. We've been doing Whatnot for 2.5 years before all of this. And we had 1,500 followers. We had sold like 6,000 items or 5,000 items. So Paul normally would never do it, he said, but he said he saw all of our sales, and he says, okay, can you do the Ray Train on Tuesday? We were leaving on Sunday. I remember we were leaving on Sunday. And Tracy said, yes. Here's how stupid I was. I didn't know what a Ray Train was. He goes, would you like to do my Ray Train? Tracy says, yes. And I'm like, what's a Ray Train? I had no idea. And that's your whole meetup literally blew my mind wide open to watching all of the videos and learning from all of the videos and doing things like that. As a matter of fact, I just started watching Brendan's because he was talking about doing Mercari. And so that's one platform we don't do a lot on. We do a lot on eBay, Whatnot, Amazon, the marketplace and stuff like that. But I want to learn how to do that too.
Don't sleep on Etsy, right, Brendan?
Man, don't do it.
Oh, it's Etsy. That's right. It was Etsy. That's
man.
right. My bad. Yeah, and I was like, well, I don't know. I'll try it. We'll try anything. We'll try anything. But our business has just fired up like a rocket, and it's because of Ray.
Shout out to Ray.
Joe, I'm good for something, Joe.
If anybody gets a chance to go to a meetup, go. That's my biggest.
How did Tracy find out? Tracy, how'd you find out about the meetup?
Come on over here.
Well, I watch YouTube. I have for years, but I wasn't like hardcore into it. I just watched whoever came up in my feed. And I believe I actually heard it mentioned on the Bearded Pickers channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he mentioned it, and then I went to your videos and I found out more information from
It was on Facebook too, right?
We joined the Facebook group.
Yeah, we joined the Facebook group and stuff. And
shout out to Scott because he did put us
Yep, I think
he did a really good job shouting us out and stuff like that. So that was awesome for Scott.
It was great doing the meetup too, and literally Tracy and I, because of my being medicated and everything like that, and the fact that we weren't very outgoing at the time because of all of everything else. The only thing we did was the meetup and meeting the people in the lobby, and that was well worth it. But the next time, Tracy and I have already said we're going to the next time, and we're going to do all of this.
We're going to annoy the heck out of everybody.
Oh yeah.
Please do. Please do.
Oh, Brendan and Joe got the room together. How was that?
It was a nightmare. I'll never do that again. Awful. Awful.
One bed or two?
All night long.
one twin bed, right?
One twin bed.
Head to toe?
Yeah. Joe was all in there flexing, showing off his jail tats and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to see that, dude. I don't know.
I did want to bring this up. Before we go any further, because, Jack, we did sign an exclusive contract with Joe with I'd Flip That, but his price is super high. So what we did was we found two sponsors to help out with the price of Joe being on the show. So we do want to give a shout out to one of the sponsors of the show, and that's My Reseller Genie, the best, Jack or Brian. I keep calling you Jack. That's just like really messing with my head. But
I go by both now.
Yeah,
a lot of everybody calls me Jack, and I'm like, I'm fine with that. Jack
that's
is actually our cat.
Name. Yeah,
that's the cat's name. Yeah.
So why does the cat have an eye patch?
Why not?
Well, when that cat was a rescue cat, And when we got it, she had a birth defect, and the birth defect was a scar over the eye that her eye wouldn't fully open. The eye was there, so it wasn't like there was a hollow thing, but it wouldn't fully open. So this used to be in our booth. We used to have a booth too, but then we discovered that just wasn't time worthy for us. And so this big poster was hanging over that, and we didn't want to have a poster with her eye a little bit messed up and scaring little children.
To the patch.
Now we will.
So,
but yeah, we lost Jack on Mother's Day this year. But I told
R.I.P.
Tracy, I said we're going to keep the name, and Jack is. Thank you. Jack is. She was an amazing cat. She really, really was.
That's awesome. Well, Joe, I'll make sure to order you an eye patch so you don't scare any of the small children.
Right?
We'll get you one for both eyes, just like cross, and there you go.
I feel like that was in one of those old slapstick,
Probably.
Naked Gun movies. I can't remember if that's the case or not. But My Reseller Genie, the best accounting software for all resellers, and you can use it for eBay, whatnot, Mercari, Etsy, all the good stuff. And guys, if you use the code Nashville Flippers, you're going to get 15% off your first month. So shout out to My Reseller Genie, the best accounting software for resellers out there. So thank you so much for My Reseller Genie for sponsoring the podcast. So guys, I did want to bring this up, and Joe and Brendan know about this, but Dustin, my other partner in crime, recently had a really good sale, and that was he sold his senior yearbook. Because if you didn't know, Jack, we went to school with Taylor Swift here.
Oh wow!
And she was in this year was like the one where she had like the most pictures in. So sold it $4,500 or $1,400.
Oh wow! Wow,
crazy.
That is.
And
nuts.
if she signed the yearbook, of course it'll go for like way more money.
Oh yeah.
Right. Did Dustin know her and have her sign it?
No. She was in my sister's math class, and my sister would say that she would like write songs about math and like perform them and stuff like that, like during like on a Friday or something like that.
Who writes songs on math? What kind of subject is that?
You got to put in the reps. I
guess, man. I guess.
You got to put in the reps.
I guess.
And you didn't choose Taylor Swift to have dinner with at your dinner party on the draft? Yeah, Joe did.
Oh, I know, right?
And Joe, you had my vote too. Joe had my vote.
Joe's board was fire that day.
It was awesome.
Joe actually knows Taylor Swift.
The only week we voted the same too.
Yeah, I think Tracy just said that's the only week we voted the same. Otherwise, we cancel each other out.
Oh, really?
Tonight is.
I'm voted for. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
No, you're fine.
I was like, I am definitely going with Donald Trump and Kanye, and I was like, Taylor Swift. Yes, I want to see that entertainment value.
Today is best or hall passes.
So you guys have this.
Pass.
You guys are recording on a Monday. If you guys don't know.
Yeah, we're recording on a Monday.
So you and Joe we're doing this now, and then you guys are on tonight too. For the
Well, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I figured Joe would be there, but okay.
I'm not drafting this time.
Joe, yeah,
I wasn't.
But that's what I got right now. I just wanted to bring up that crazy sale. So if you see a 2006 Hendersonville High School yearbook, make sure to pick it up.
Is that the only one? I mean, that she's in?
2005, which is my senior year, she's in there, but 2006 she has like more pictures in there because at that time that was like, I think her first single had come out, and she had like so like.
I'm surprised she's not on the cover.
Yeah, right.
We all hate she graduating. They wouldn't like the student body voted on her not to walk during graduation because she wasn't there like the majority of the time. So I think T Swift's still like kind of salty about that.
Dang.
Should probably make an album about it.
Yep.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
see how it goes.
So, Joe, how was your weekend reselling? Tell us something. Are you missing? Are you still crying about the Doughboy?
No, I'm happy that he's located somewhere in California, and some old lady loves the Doughboy. So yeah,
Can
yeah.
you tell her to buy more from you?
No, nothing.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I probably should reach out and go, hey, I got a few more things, but she's probably gonna be like, I've already got 17 of those or whatever, so who knows?
Yeah. Brian, what's the
Uh,
weirdest thing you've ever sold on
Yeah.
eBay or whatnot?
Weirdest thing I've ever sold?
Yeah, like the strangest thing
shoot.
that like kind of like pops into your mind kind of situation.
Well, there was one thing that I sold that was broken from like head to toe. It was an old reel-to-reel recorder, and it was huge. It was a massive thing, and I was like, God, I don't even know if I want to ship this thing or anything like that. But we sold it broken for $350, and we shipped it. It cost me $50 shipping, but I charged that to the. I don't do free shipping at all. All of my shipping is, you're going to pay the shipping. And so we shipped it out, and it arrived there, and it was broken. And the guy says, well, it's broken. And I said, well, okay, well, first off, it says broken in the title. So yeah, it was broken. He goes, no, it was broken even more. And I was like, oh my gosh. So FedEx, I don't know what FedEx did because the thing was so heavy and stuff like that. I guess the guy got mad at it and just threw it out of the back of his truck when he got there. But that's like one of the weirdest things we've ever sold. But we've sold a lot of stuff.
So you didn't sell it for like parts?
I
Like,
did. I
you
listed
did?
it as for parts only.
Yeah.
And he said that because we had the pictures of it, he said, well, this was cracked and broken. The case was cracked and broken there, which it wasn't before. So, and I got it back. So there's absolutely zero doubt. We filed a claim with FedEx, and FedEx said, yeah, okay, no problem. No money back. It's like, great, whatever. Not a huge fan of FedEx. Sorry if they're a sponsor.
See that I am. My gripe is with UPS because every time I ship something like with them, they damage it every single time.
UPS.
Yeah. So I barely use them because they like to break my stuff, and then when I file a claim and put in all the pictures and all that, they're like, no, we didn't do it. Denied. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Damn.
yeah. So I don't use it. I don't use them.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's FedEx.
Rant over.
I got beef with all of them. I'd be beefing with all of them.
I don't really have
You guys
problem with
talked about it
UPS.
last week, right? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did you guys talk about some of the issues with FedEx last week in the shipping, or is that a different show that I might?
I can't remember. Tell us about it. Oh, I think it was last week. Like, yeah, like
they changed
overcharging.
Yeah. That was
yeah,
FedEx.
yeah.
They've done that to me too. They said, oh, you didn't charge enough, so you owe another $17. I'm like, there's no way. Okay, I got a professional scale. We measure all of our boxes, everything like that. And I just don't like FedEx. UPS.
Yeah, I was going to look and see if I got charged extra before we came on, and I completely forgot to look. So.
Right, because of the Doughboy head.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Yeah.
That's what I was saying last week. I was like, when I'm shipping like something big that's using FedEx, I'll remeasure it just in case before, so that doesn't happen. So I don't get overcharged because,
Or what if you remeasure it and then they still overcharge you? Because it's like your word against or their word against your word.
You
I don't
almost
know.
record yourself measuring it or taking pictures of the box, so then they could be like, "Oh, it's this," and you're like, "Well, here's the box that I mean, that might work."
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had that issue in a long time. The last one to do it to me was USPS, and it was only for like $1.50. So I was like, whatever, I don't care. But if it was like $25, yeah, I was like, no. But yeah, I don't have the problem with FedEx. I don't know. Maybe I'm lucky.
Maybe it's just like locally.
I hope that you don't.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like locally. You know what's funny that it's just every business is different, right? Even if it's a franchise. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up is that sorry, Joe, if this bothers you in any way, but my wife and I really like Papa John's. Okay. But we don't get the Papa John's here in our town because the Papa John's here in our town like sucks. So whenever we're like out and about in like a different town, we're like, well, let's grab a Papa John's pizza because they're always better everywhere else than our town. So I think it might be like a FedEx thing also. Maybe like Brian's FedEx sucks, but like Brennan's FedEx.
Right.
It could be. I don't
It's
know.
fire.
It could be.
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't.
I do.
But Joe, why would that offend you? I was curious on that one.
Well, Joe has long-standing
Brady
beef.
eating Papa John.
What was that, Brendan? You were gonna say?
I say you have long-standing beef with other pizza companies. I know.
I never said that.
I know.
So Brian, I work for Domino's Pizza. I deliver pizzas at night while I do my reselling stuff too. And
Okay.
Apparently
30 years, right, Joe?
I just hit 30 years that first Friday in August. Yeah, the second? Yeah, August 2nd was 30 years there.
They should.
Nobody said a word to me about it. They're like, I had to say something, and the area manager guy, I was walking out the door, and I was like, oh, 30 years. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's right. And I'm like, and he goes, I said something to the owners, and they go, but it wasn't 30 years with us, so it doesn't count.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. He goes, we've only owned the store for 11. I go, okay, well then how about 11 years for me then? Because I've been with you guys for the full 11 years. It doesn't. I mean, it's, yeah, that's just, we're just a number person. Just move along, do your work. We don't care.
Well, we here at This Week in Reselling would like to congratulate you on 30 years.
Yes, Joe, congratulations.
That's all I want is a little recognition. That was it.
What is the little thing on StreamYard and it does the little...
Oh, dude, I do that on accident. Like every time I try to do it, because I like talking.
Like the balloons. What is the balloons?
I don't know.
I'm going to look it up.
It always happens to me on accident, always. And I don't know. And then, like, when we're off air, we try to, like, recreate it, and we're all on the screen like this. And
like
and
a bunch of morons.
Yeah, it never happens.
Throwing up gang signs.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said that last week.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of morons. I'm trying to... It says Mac. This one's heart.
Not working.
My heart is that's not a heart.
Oh, look.
Oh,
Look,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon, look.
I saw it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I
All
can see that.
Peace sign or
Man.
something.
Peace. Hold on. No. People watching this, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
They're
Are
like,
they
what the heck is going on? Yeah. So
I'm sorry, I'm bringing you guys down to a whole new low, I guess.
doing? Oh no, we stoop.
We're already down there.
Yeah,
already.
we
we're
stoop to a
there.
new low. We stoop to a new low every single week. So
every single week.
Brendan's in
You
prison.
guys
right
seem
now.
to have a lot of
I
fun
am.
though, and that's what I enjoy when I watch the podcast because I'm binge watching because I'll be working and I'll binge watch the podcast, and you guys seem to have a great interaction and a lot of fun, and I'm like that's what really makes it enjoyable. I mean, you teach, there's no doubt, there's great information in here if you listen, but it's entertaining.
If you listen, Joe, is the
And I'm faking that I'm having fun, just so you know, Brian.
it's only until
I
the
don't think
it's
you
only
can
until
fake
the
that
check
much,
clears. No,
Just
but
getting paid to pretend to have fun, so we'll just put it that way.
we got a couple nuggets in each episode. You just got to sort through all the garbage first, and then you'll find it.
yeah, we're still.
Well, it's
what nugget
actually
do we?
great to watch, for me.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
you. What nugget do we have this week, Brendan?
Stay in school and don't do drugs. That's what That's all I
Tell
can
him.
say.
Tell him,
I
Brendan.
like it.
It's not done nothing to do reselling, but I would say because I came up with this. I was commenting on some thread last week, and people are still misusing like priority boxes and like wrapping them in paper to like cover it up,
Oh,
sending them as like ground advantage. So if you're a newer seller, please don't do that because if you get caught, they're gonna charge you the priority rate anyway. So don't do
how
that.
would they
Get
charge
away-
you though?
away with
How would
that.
they charge you?
Because like if the paper rips and it's obviously a priority box.
Yeah.
I get that. So like, but what is like, is the mailman coming to my door? Like, or is it there? Are they charging the recipient?
No, like I know, like if you get overcharged or something like that, they'll send you an email like through eBay, like we had to adjust your shipping. So
Oh,
it
okay.
costs
Through
it.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. But how do they know that the? Excuse me.
Wow, we're boring.
Sorry,
Yeah, man.
that the label is coming through eBay.
Doesn't say it on there. I mean,
I can't remember
I don't
if it does
know.
or not.
I don't know. They figure it out. They
I
got
think when the
ways.
scans, when they scan them, eBay has that deal with the post office, which is why we get the better price. But they figure it out that way, because I've been charged that same thing. That I would send something and I was off on my weight, and the post office literally told me, but then I got charged through eBay. But it's funny. One of our best videos on TikTok, a lady went off on me because I was taking flat rate boxes and turning them inside out and using them as priority boxes. And somebody just went off on me saying, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that and everything like that. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure the post office would tell me that before you did. But that's what we do, is we turn the flat rate boxes inside out and then tape them up.
I used to
And
do
it says
that
priority box all over it.
too.
Wait,
It does, yeah, on
wait,
the
wait,
inside.
wait. Time out. Brian, so you take the priority boxes, you flip them in. Why do you flip them inside out?
I can't hear it.
Because it's not priority for the flat rate.
Because it says flat rate on the outside.
Oh, the flat rate.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so
the
now
flat
it's-
rate says flat rate on the outside of the box. So if I turn it inside out, I can use it as a priority box.
Gotcha. That's what that's why I was confused.
Yeah, I
thought
wouldn't use it
because I was like, why
for
won't you
the
just
other one.
leave it the way it is if it was just like a priority box? But it was
This
flat
one
rate.
went out now too.
See, I barely use those anymore. Like I still have a bunch at the house, and they just sit. I don't have a use for them.
Yeah.
The priority boxes or what?
No, like the flat rates. Like the only
flat
time
rate, yeah, the flat rate sucks.
the only time I really use it is like if I'm selling something on Poshmark, and like just to get rid of it, man, because I don't want to see it anymore. But I had, when I started, I took so many at one time. I was like, I'm gonna use all these,
I know, right?
you know. So
Right.
Which box do you use the most?
I man, ever since they came out with Ground Advantage, I've cut way down in priority. But I'd still probably say, I still have regional A's, but probably shoebox. Shoebox is a good size.
I can't hear
So,
anything.
Yeah.
but
Can you hear us, Brian? He
I
can't
don't
hear us.
think you can.
No. Okay. So I know this is kind of. I think this is like the second time we've talked about shipping.
Okay.
Last week and this week, I had a little incident again. This is kind of pertaining to again another Pokemon card that I ordered off of eBay, and shipping. Okay, so this is what happened. So I ordered a card, and because the card it like meets the requirement of like it being authenticated, it gets shipped to the PSA in California, it gets authenticated, then it gets shipped back to me, right? And it comes in like a little fancy box, which is I throw away the box like immediately because who keeps their cards in a fancy little box anyways? But anyways,
Sorry about that.
so can you
No,
hear
you're
us,
good.
Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you
Sure.
now.
Okay,
we just
perfect.
got all of these things, and there's a thumbs up one.
I can't do it again. See, I can't do it again if I tried.
I think it might only work on Brendan's.
Right?
I don't know. But it never works if I try it again. Like, oh, let me try again. Doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
We'll figure it out. But anyways, so I bought this card, and it was like I don't know. It was something like 5 days, and there was like no tracking for the card. And I'm like, what's the deal here? I didn't say it was shipped or anything. So I messaged the seller. I'm like, hey, when do you plan on like? And I want to be like that guy, right? The message that we always get. When do you plan on shipping the item?
Yeah.
You know, I was that guy in this case. When do you plan on shipping the item? It's been like 5 days. And he's like, I've already shipped it out. It went to the authenticator. And I'm like, where is the tracking? Did you print the label through eBay? why hasn't the tracking been whatever? It's like, no, my girlfriend sent it out. She lost the receipt, so there's no like tracking or whatever. I'm like, what? And he guaranteed me that the item was shipped off to the authenticator. I'm like, man, I don't know about this. This sounds really shady. And then he's like, well, give me a minute. Let me call eBay. And he gave me a message back. And he said, yeah, they said everything's good. You don't have to worry about anything. I was like, yeah, but I don't have any record of the tracking. How do I even know that you're just not just BSing me along, right?
You need a phone call or anything.
Exactly. And then so after that, I went ahead and called eBay and I gave him the situation. Hey, I purchased this card. The guy is saying that it was shipped and so on and so forth to PSA, which is in California. They authenticate the card and then it gets sent back to me, right? And they're like, yeah, it shows here that it was shipped to the authenticator. And I was like, then why isn't there tracking for it? And he's like, well, he purchased it through a third party. He never uploaded tracking, but we could tell that the item is being moved to the authenticator. I'm like, how?
Right.
And then she assured me that I had nothing to worry about. And then right after that phone call, the item, like I guess, changed from fixing to be shipped out to shipped out, no tracking. So somehow they know that the item is getting shipped to the authenticator, and then once the authenticator authenticates it, then it gets shipped back to me, and maybe the tracking updates. But it still sounds super shady, and I don't know if you guys have ever had an issue like that or not.
I don't buy high item prices, things like you do, Ray, so I don't.
Yeah.
Joe likes to hoard his money. That's why he don't spend anything.
It wasn't even like a lot. It wasn't even a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. Like, I really don't buy stuff off eBay. I really don't.
You don't buy anything off of eBay?
If I do, it's only like supplies. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
I buy like the majority of my things on eBay.
I gotta
support. I gotta support ourselves, Brendan.
Yeah,
this is our livelihood here.
I know. I like to go to the store and like pick it up and like look at it and stuff. That's why I don't even do it. Like I don't use Amazon either. I don't.
We use Amazon a lot.
See, I don't. I just don't buy stuff offline like that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I've always been like that. Unless I like absolutely cannot find. If it's like one of a kind, something that's not going to be on eBay, yeah.
A new whack.
Yeah. Yes. Otherwise, no. I'll go to the store and pick it up.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't you buy stuff off of eBay, Brian?
Not off of eBay.
Really?
We used to. Tracy, actually, when she started, she would buy lots of strategy guides, and then she would break up the strategy guides and sell those individuals. That's actually what she started doing.
Role-playing books.
Role-playing books, I'm sorry. And but I don't do that much on eBay, but I do a lot on Whatnot. I do buy a lot on Whatnot. I've actually sourced from Ray on Whatnot, and I bought his Ric Flair action figures.
Mm-hmm.
I bought 5 of those off of Ray's shows. I've actually sold off all of those. I didn't make any money though, so I didn't do good sourcing. I didn't say I did good sourcing, but I did sell a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy, as a matter of fact, just today that I bought from Ray, and I sold it for $25, and I think I paid $8 for it.
There you go.
We got a real nice Battletoad, like a special edition Battletoad.
Dude, you didn't sell that on Saturday? You didn't sell it?
Dude.
Wow.
Nobody wanted it. It's
That's
fire
crazy.
too. It's a nice one. It's like a Zit from the video game, the Battletoads. Brian, you know what I'm talking about? The video game?
Not really.
You don't know either, Joe? Battletoads?
No.
Oh my gosh!
I thought it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villain or something.
I was thinking it was an anime too.
It first came out on NES.
Yeah, NES, and then you've never played Battletoads on the Nintendo?
No.
Y'all need to. That game is fire, ain't it, Brent?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
But if you need an NES, I got plenty of those.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you know how to fix any of those consoles, Brian?
Yeah, I did. I did watch a couple of videos on how to clean and fix the NES, and they are really super easy to clean and fix. So I did those, but I can't do the others yet. Well, I don't want to do the others yet. I'm just going to sell them untested.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Gotcha. There
Mine
you go.
still has the issue with the blinking. Like you turn on and like the light blinks, and then you gotta wiggle the cartridge and stuff. And
Yeah.
That's something to do with the pens, though, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I haven't played it in like 5 years. So
There's no need to anymore. You can just buy one of those. Like this weekend, we sold a like a game stick. Looks like a Roku. In the little game stick, it has 4,000 games in it, ready to rock and roll.
I saw that.
And it comes with 2 wireless controllers. So anywhere from like anything from like Atari all the way up to like the Dreamcast.
oh wow, dude, I still have a Dreamcast too.
Dude, Dreamcast was
original.
the stuff.
Yeah, Dreamcast was ahead of its time, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got the one that you could play because they fixed it later on. And when they first came out, you could like burn games and then play them on there, and that's the one I have. But then they fixed it later. But that's why they went.
I think that's exactly. I think that's why they went under, because people found out that you can burn the Dreamcast games, and the Dreamcast could read them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried it, and I've burnt like I did the Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah.
I burnt onto a disc and I played it on my Dreamcast.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So I don't even know what a Dreamcast goes for nowadays. I'm sure it goes for pretty good money.
I want to say like 130, 150.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I was thinking it was more than that even, but maybe not.
What?
Well, there's not a lot of really good games on there. I think that's the issue.
Right.
Because it's like you get a Dreamcast, what games are you going to play?
I mean, that's when they first came out with like NBA 2K, NFL 2K. They had Sonic, House of the Dead, Crazy Taxi. They had a few games on there.
They have this might be worth some good money. There's a keyboard for the Dreamcast. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone can look it up.
I'll look
That
it
you
up.
can connect it to the Dreamcast, and there's the House of the Dead game, which is like the shooter game that you can buy a gun.
Yeah.
Instead of the gun, it's a typing game. So like a word will pop up on the zombie, and you would type it, and then it would shoot. So it would like help like the people that like learn how to type.
It's called the game is called the Typing of the Dead.
The Typing of the Dead.
Okay.
Interesting.
So what does that go for, Brendan?
Let's see right now. I mean, the game itself, not too. I mean, well, never mind. The game itself goes for like $100,
Yeah.
and then with the keyboard, like 170, 180. So, I mean, it sells well. If you find one, it's gonna sell.
Yeah. What is it? Typing of the Dead?
The Typing of the Dead.
For the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
There you go. See, Brendan, you got some nuggets in there.
Yeah. See, like I
Look at
said,
you.
you gotta get. You just gotta get. If you're watching or listening, you just gotta get 58 minutes in, and you'll learn something. You know.
Yeah. I do want to bring up, speaking of the people that are listening and watching, make sure you comment on the YouTube video. We're going to start picking out comments of the week. So this comment comes from, this would be, I guess it really wouldn't work too well because we're recording like way ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be comment of the week for episode 2 of the podcast, where we talk about the trip between the running out of the gas.
Oh yeah.
Story. So comment of the week comes from Apex Jeff, aka Apex Flipper. Dude, Joe and I were rolling our eyes in the back seat. We could not believe this was happening after all the amazing garage sales we did. The seatbelt thing was real. We didn't want to be on the evening news, and believe me, we never stopped ribbing Larry for the rest of the weekend. So,
those are the things that are the best, make the best part of those meetups, though.
Yeah,
those little quirky things that make you remember them.
The little stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
I really still can't believe that happened, man. Like, we're running out of gas. All right, we'll get gas. No, right now we're running out of gas.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow.
Right now,
And,
we are running out of gas.
in Nashville on those roads too. Wow.
They were on the highway.
Scary one.
I was on a freeway,
Yeah.
like a 3-lane, 4-lane, whatever. Yeah, it was.
Man, if you go next year, just don't ride with Larry, I guess.
Don't worry with Larry. That's hilarious. So anything else, gentlemen? I know
I have a few questions.
Yeah, come on.
Ryan. Whoa, what?
Look. So
What's that?
I found this on my computer, so I can just click,
Oh, really?
Wow.
which is not as cool as
Oh, you got to do that for Joe though, for celebration.
Joe.
Yeah,
Joe,
for his
yes.
30 years of
For
service.
celebration.
Here we go. Hold on. Let me find it. Give me a sec. Joe,
Yes.
congratulations on 30 years.
There you go.
There you go.
They should just make you a CEO at this point, man. Just let you run the whole show.
Oh, here you go.
I've been asked to be a manager, or there was an old manager that worked there 5 years ago, and he left to go start some stores. And he called me up a few years ago, and he's like, "Hey, the store close by you is for sale. If I buy it, will you manage the store, and eventually you will become 40% owner of it?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do I really want to manage a store? It's like, it's a glorified job of babysitting teenagers that want to sit on their phone and not work.
Right.
And talking with Nicole, she's like, you would not be nice, and everybody would quit because you would yell at them, and then you have to do all the work. I don't know if it's going to work. And then Domino stepped in, and they were like, "Oh, so we're going to have this guy come in, and he's going to not put in any money, but somehow work his way into being 40% owner." And the guy's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, that doesn't work. He's got to put in money." And we're like, "Yeah." And I told Nicole, I go, so like, yesterday we had a pool party. I go, if some manager or assistant manager called in sick, I am not at the pool party. I have to go and work. I would be on call 24 hours a day. And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I got to work probably 60 hours a week, maybe more sometimes. And I'm like, then I never see anybody in my house.
Yeah, that would suck.
And you couldn't be out here selling Pillsbury Doughboy heads,
Exactly, right?
So,
right?
Yeah.
What's the fun in that?
Exactly, right? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so I have a question for Brian. I've talked to a storage auction pirate guy when I was at the Boss Reseller Remix, and he was talking about how he looks into who owns the storage unit before that isn't paying him. How do you do that? Where do you find their information?
Well, the storage facility has to post the person's name or the storage unit in the paper 30 days before they sell it. And if they don't, they can't sell it. And so Tracy will go in and she knows the local publications. Yeah, they have to post it in the paper. Yeah.
What if they don't even have a paper?
Yeah, right. What if there's no paper?
Well, then they'll go to a regional paper, a regional area paper, or something like that. But they'll post the. I don't know if they post the name. That they do post the name. Okay, they post the name, and they post the student number or the storage unit number of the storage facility, and Tracy will look it up there, and then she'll say, "Oh, okay, this was owned by so and so and so and so." Some of the times we can't find it, because in Paulding County, which is where I live, they don't post them in Paulding County. They post them in Atlanta. So if I go to Atlanta to go look, there's thousands of them and stuff, and we're not going to do that. So if we're really interested in a unit, she might do it. We have gotten us 1 or 2 semi-celebrity units. One of them was Walton Goggins. He's the guy from Fallout. He's the ghoul in Fallout, the new Fallout show. Spoiler alert! I didn't. Do that. But it was his father's unit, and we didn't know that because it was a different name. It was up in Ellijay, Georgia. So we get in the unit, and it was like, oh my gosh, look at all of this stuff on Walton Goggins. It's all his sign. And you were talking about yearbooks. I had his yearbook, and we ended up giving it back to the facility because I was like, well, I'll give personals back. But that's how we find out who it was. Sometimes she can find out, sometimes we can't.
Who was the other celebrity?
His name, we call him Mr. Outrageous.
His name's actually
He
Mr.
was
Obnoxious.
w-
Mr. Obnoxious.
he was known as Mr. Obnoxious, and he had a big YouTube channel, and he used to go to college basketball games, and we have a bunch of signed shoes from him. And I don't remember what his real name was, but he was very sad that he lost his unit. He actually called the facility and said, "Can I have more time?" And they said no. But those were the two ones.
Until after.
Yeah, we didn't know that until afterwards and stuff.
So, what's the craziest thing that you have found in a storage unit?
Craziest thing we've ever found in the
Like
store.
you're like, what?
beans?
I can't believe I found it.
What's that?
The beans.
Oh yeah, the beans. Okay. We bought this unit in an area of Atlanta that's pretty affluent. It's a really nice area. So if I see units come up in that area, I always want to try to check them out. And it was garbage bags. It was full of garbage bags. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend too much, but we already had another unit. So I said, well, we'll throw this unit in. We call it a throw in. I've already got a truck. I got let's say I got a 10 by 10 and it's half full. Well, I want to try to fill the whole truck up. So I'll throw in some other units for like $10 or $20. We threw in a unit for $10 and it had bags in it. I would have never bought it otherwise. So we go to the unit, open it up, and we start going through, and there's nothing in the bags but bags of pinto beans from Publix. I don't know if y'all have Publix where you're at, but it's bags and bags and bags of pinto beans. I'm like literally 500 bags of pinto beans. And inside the unit, Tracy finds a water purifying system. And she looks it up, and she almost fell when she looked it up. She goes, "You're not going to believe this." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "This thing goes for $2,000. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Wow.
And she goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Man, I'm ready to write this unit off and say, okay, we got a loss on this one. I paid like $20 for it." But no, that was one of the strangest things that we ever found, because it was full of pinto beans. And then we find that in it. And of course, you always find the sex toys. We just did a unit. As a matter of fact, I told Tracy, I said, "Tracy, we need to do a short on YouTube on this one," because this guy had more burned porn than I have ever seen in my life, and in all of the other units put together. Oh yeah, he had over 1,000 DVRs. I'm like, how does he even have the time to look or watch any of this stuff? It was so much. And he wrote on every one of the discs. And I'm like, oh my God.
Maybe he was selling it.
Very. What's that?
Maybe he was selling it.
If he was, he had them all, those, the little
like the little tower.
Yeah. They were all in those towers. And I have to go through each one of them because, Ray, you're going to love this. He also burned all of WWF Raws. Ooh. I have from episode 1 to wherever the hell they were at before this guy lost his unit. I have all of those. And I was
sounds like Brendan's kind of guy.
Those. Yeah. He had I sent you a picture of one of the magazine that he had from 1980s.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The same guy, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And I knew that you said that you were a wrestling historian, and I'm like, oh man, I used to go to wrestling in the 1970s. So I used to go see all of them. I seen Andre the Giant, and we used to be able to stand right next to the ring and get signatures. But I had to go through all of this stuff, so I'm throwing it all in a big banker's box that we got that I'm going to throw out. I can't throw it out at my mom's, where my mother-in-law's warehouse, which is where I was at, because she gets mad if the garbage men see it. So I have to take it home and throw it out at my garbage can. But
what
yeah,
you talking about?
Was full.
See what?
The burnt porn.
Oh,
yeah, because it says right on it, and he doesn't know what XXX is, so he wrote XXXXX. So it had 4 X's on it. I'm like, I don't know if that's even a
what
thing.
Does XXX mean?
That's the big thing for porn.
I knew that, but like, do the X's actually mean like certain things?
Maybe he was rating
I have no idea.
Like it's 4 X's.
Oh.
4 X's out of 5.
Yeah. I don't know. But Tracy's like, are you bringing any of this home? I said, well, I'm kind of interested in some of these. I want to check out what this guy's got. But it was
like if it was worth
I don't
burning.
even have a computer that has a disk drive. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to. I'm not putting it on my Xbox. Got to kill my Xbox. I'm going to be mad. But yeah, that's we've seen some very, very strange stuff. But we found a stripper pole in one. I know they were filming porn in one video that we got because they had all the lighting up and they had like this fur couch, fur fur on the floor, and there was a couch, and it was in downtown Atlanta, and Tracy and I were like, I think they were filming porn in here. We had so much
I think you stopped and looked at the walls and looked at the ground.
Get the black light out?
I was just gonna say that.
You didn't take the black light out, did you? Okay.
No, we didn't have the black light on it, but we went to the facility, and I told them because he was stealing power from the facility. He literally tapped into the lights that are on the outside of the facility. He tapped into that, spliced it, and had this all of this power going into the storage unit. And I was like, oh my God.
It's probably living in there.
That one was unbelievable. I don't know if I would live in there, but we have gotten a unit that somebody lived in too.
Tell us about that. That sounds crazy.
It was another throw-in unit, and it had a pair of sneakers in it and a couple of other things, and there was a bottle in it that was a yellow liquid. And I was like, okay, I know this one. The shoes were horrible. We ended up throwing those out. No, but we did find a broken ass. Sorry, I did that again. I apologize. I was in the Navy. Hublot watch, and I've never heard of a Hublot watch before, but this one looked like a car drove over it, and we sold that online for $50. So that's always something to look for, is a Hublot.
Hublot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna say, because you brought it up, but I mean, it doesn't have the greatest sell through, but if you find those, because they don't make them anymore, those WWF magazines, they sell. If you sell them in lots, they sell pretty good.
Because they quit making them when
like early 2010s, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you find them, especially the older ones, like in the 90s too. So
we had a couple of them. I sold them. That was
really?
in a different unit, though. It was a different unit, yeah.
Okay.
What about, did you have another question, Joe?
Well, I was gonna say, do you have a dumpster? I mean, I know you said your mom's work is a dumpster, but
we have a trailer.
Garbage.
I have a trailer, and if I got about 8 big, huge garbage cans, and I put the garbage cans in the trailer. And as we're going through a unit, if it's got a lot of paperwork, I throw it into that, and then I'll run it over to our local dump. That's one thing about storage units. They never show that on versus how much stuff goes to the dump, how much goes to Goodwill. Goodwill won't take a lot of the stuff that I had. And we also go to scrap. We used to take stuff to scrap metals when we were doing it a lot, when I was buying a lot of storage units, because at one time we were buying probably about 5 to 10 storage units a month. Now we do about maybe 1 or 2.
So many.
Well, it's a chance. A lot of times you're taking a chance on what you're getting. If it's not live, because now 90% of them are online. You buy them on online auctions. You can't smell the unit. You can't do that. When we used to do live auctions, it would open up the door and you could smell them. You could, if they smell like urine or cat or dog, something like that, we would avoid them like the plague at that point. Because I don't want them in my truck.
I was fixing to say, what do you mean by smelling the unit?
Well, we got one. They opened up one door on a unit, and when they opened up the door, you could smell if they closed. If they were cigarette smokers, and we don't want that. If they had pets, you could tell when they do that. And a lot of times the facilities won't take pictures of the floor of the unit. And if it's a really, real old unit, you could see rat droppings on it. And we try to avoid those. One of them we didn't. And oh my God, that thing was loaded. We found a couple of live rats, a couple of dead ones, things like that.
Wow. How much you sell the rats for?
Well, one of them we actually recorded, and it was on a short. We were doing a little short video, and it's funny because all of these things Tracy ends up finding. I don't know how, but this was a unit that we knew had rats in it because we saw the rat at the unit first. So I got it back to the house, and I said, we're not bringing any of these boxes in the house. They're not coming into the garage. They're not coming into the warehouse. They're going to stay on the trailer, and we'll source through it from there.
Yeah.
And we were doing one of the boxes, and I said, hey, let's record this one for a video that nobody will watch because nobody watches our YouTube channel. But right when she opens up with this thing, a rat leaps out of the box. She screams. It was funny as all get out. But yeah, it's crazy what people will store. You're not allowed to store food. They store food. And I didn't know you're not allowed to, in Georgia, you're not allowed to store money. and we have found a lot of money in a unit.
Rats eat the money too, probably. Right?
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
Well, they would. This one they didn't. They were in wine jars, and we made. I think that was like $1,700 in wine jars of money we had. In change, yeah.
In
Oh,
change.
wow.
Yeah.
So did you roll it all up, or the Coinstar?
No, we rolled a lot of it up, and the quarters. I always will roll up the quarters and stuff like that, but all the other stuff we take to the thing you mentioned.
Yeah,
I don't even know what it's called. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do with all the lima beans?
Pinto
We
beans.
threw those out because they were all out of date.
I was gonna ask if
we find food that's in date, generally what we do is we'll take it to a food pantry, or we'll take it to a church that has one of the donation boxes on the inside of it. As long as it's in date. If it's not in date, we just throw it right out.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you move so much stuff when you're buying 5 to 10 units a month?
Yes, great question, Joe.
Well, it really depends on how big the units are and how small, if they're smaller, and how much room we had. We used to rent out a retail storage. So we had something like 1,600 square feet. So we would get it and we would unload the unit at the facility, take it back, and we would try to resource it as fast as we could. And we would be throwing stuff away. And at that time, we didn't have Whatnot, and then I didn't know anything about McKay's. I didn't know anything about McKay's until I bought that storage unit up here, in Nashville. Then I learned about McKay's. So now I know what to do with all my DVDs and CDs that I don't want. So I take them up there. But we process it as fast as we can. And Tracy will look for some others that we could find. A lot of the furniture, that normally is never any good. We normally always take that straight to the dump. And when we're bidding on the unit, we'll take that into consideration. Okay, I'm going to have to take 2 dump runs. That's $50. So we'll take that into consideration. But it is a learning curve. I have a friend of mine who's starting to buy storage units, and she said, "What would you recommend?" I said, "Well, the first thing I would recommend is don't buy a storage unit that's large, because it'll take you a long time. Because when you get the first ones, you want to try to make money on every item in there." And for Tracy and I, at that point, we just said, "No, we're going to try to make the money on the money that we can see, and then if we get anything else, it's a bonus, but get rid of it so we could bring in more."
That's smart.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
What would you recommend someone that's listening right now, Brian, that's thinking about buying storage units? Like, what are some good tips that you can give them? Like, I've never purchased a storage unit. Joe's never purchased a storage unit. Brennan's never purchased a storage unit. What if we all came together and used Joe's money to buy a storage unit? What would we?
Yes.
Well, am I included in that come together? Because if I am,
Yeah,
we're going to be getting a good unit.
Come on.
We
Yeah.
need an expert. We need an expert.
Yeah.
The things that I would recommend are be prepared to take stuff to the dump. It was one. I had a saying that somebody said to me, "Don't marry your stuff." You want to get rid of it and sell it and do something with it. I have a lot of people that would say, "Oh, well, I paid $300 for this unit. It's got a couch in here. I want to try to get $100 for the couch." I'm like, "Okay, well, how long are you going to sit on it? Are you going to sit on that couch for months and months at a time?"
Literally, yeah.
Is it going to take up space where you can use that space to make more money on something else? If somebody offers you $50, are you going to take it? And they're like, "No, I want $100." I'm like, "Well, you're an idiot," because you get the thing out of your life and move on with that. So be prepared for that. Don't be shocked at what you're going to find at all. I would always start out small. I always tell people, if you're going to buy one, buy a 10 by 10 or a 5 by 5 and try to get a clean unit. Look at the units that are on the indoor units. Indoor units tend to have less animal infestation, and they tend to be a little bit cleaner. Don't try to get one that's on the top floor. That sucks. I've done that too, where we got a 10 by 20 and I had to put everything in an elevator and go down 4 floors.
Yeah.
It was a great
man.
unit, but I don't know what floor it's on when I'm buying it, because
Oh, they
the
don't.
only way you
They
can
don't
tell
tell you that
that is
information.
no, unless you look at the number and it says something like 416, and you say, okay, well that might be on the 4th floor, but I don't know. I'll look at the facility, because when you buy them online, you can look at the facility, and if it's all one level and everything is indoor, I'm more likely going to buy from that facility than I would others. But I would recommend, starting off small, have some place to throw stuff away.
Okay.
I've been to a couple of auctions like for storage units, and they were outside, and man, they would. I mean, I looked around. You can look around or when they open the door, but it was all garbage, and then people were just running the price up. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. During COVID, the price of one unit, we were looking at one unit during COVID, and they had just reopened back up again, and they opened up the door, and I see a bunch of spider webs and this big basketball hoop, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to sell that out of the unit. I am not taking that thing home. If I do it, I'm going to take a picture of it, put it up on the marketplace, $25, come and pick it up now. But I said, okay, well, I'll pay $200 on the unit. The unit went up for $1,500. I was like, that's stupid. That's stupid money. It's a waste of money. But some people will do that. Some people have the money to do that. I'm not a big buyer by any means. I mean, it sounds like it, because we were buying a lot at one time. But
Yeah,
I'm really
you're like
not.
dropping like.
you're like, oh, just
like
7K.
10 grand.
Here you go.
Yeah, $7,000.
Well, those were two very exceptional units. Very, very exceptional units. But when we first started, we were those trashers. We were buying the $20, $30, $100, and you would get really nervous. Tracy and I would get really nervous. I'm like, man, we're spending $300 on a unit.
Yeah.
Now, when Ken was doing his show, Ken versus 10, 2 weeks ago, I was live I wasn't on the show, but I was in the chat, and I was buying a unit in the chat, and Ken could see the unit because I sent it to him, and the unit went up to something like $1,600, and I had the unit at $800. I said, well, I'll pay $800. And then I was like, well, screw this. Whoever's going to get it now is going to pay, because I don't, so I ran it up to like 12 and ended up going for 15. And then Tracy and I turned around and we bought another one right after that, which that's the one that we're working on right now, which is just absolutely fabulous.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and we could afford it. Now we're at a point where we can get that $1,500 unit or $2,000 unit. But before, no, we were buying $50 units, $100 units, things like that.
See, you dropped more knowledge in this episode than all three of us combined. So
Yes.
No.
That's why I wanted to have Brian on, because he brings a new perspective. Like, I'm terrified to buy a storage unit.
yeah, I don't
Absolutely
do it.
terrified. So it's like, for someone that's thinking about buying storage units, it's like, well, Brian will jump on and he can talk, so he can carry on he can carry the conversation.
Well, I can definitely talk.
Yeah.
Tracy told me, she said, don't monopolize the conversation. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I was a teacher. What do you want?
Yeah.
Right. One more. If you bought a unit, have you bought it, you get there, and all of a sudden you see things are missing? Has that happened to you at all? Where somebody came and picked some good stuff?
Oh, no. I've heard of that happening. A lot of facilities. And one facility burned me. One facility did burn me. What the facility did is they took really bad pictures, but I could see like an armoire in the back. And then I saw like a couple of things on the top. And I said, okay, well, we'll bid on the unit. So we bid on it. And when we get there, they opened up the unit. And what I noticed, the very first thing is it was full of trash bags, full of trash. And I said, well, that was the unit. The unit was going around and cleaning up the other units that people abandoned because they don't want to auction them. And then they throw it in a unit and they put it up on the thing. I reported them. I was like, no. This ain't flying. Okay.
Right.
So I have heard of some facilities where they they'll cherry pick out of the unit and then they'll try to do it. I avoid those. If you go to the big ones, I don't know if you have extra space or anything like that, but I would go to like extra space. Public storage is really good. Tracy and I have actually bought 2 units that the facility wasn't supposed to sell. And I had to contact a lawyer on that one because they weren't supposed to sell them. The people were current and they sold it. And I bought it.
Wow.
Oh.
So what happened to their stuff?
Well, one of the ones, the lady was crying to me, not the owner of the unit, because don't ever deal with the owner of the unit. If they say, oh, the owner of the unit will, can you contact them and give it to them? And I'm like, no, I'll give it to you, but you're not to give out my information, period, ever. And so don't ever do that part. But they contacted me and the woman said, we weren't supposed to sell that unit. Can you bring the unit back? And I'm like, well, I can bring back some of the unit, but I can't bring back all of it. You're going to have to pay me what I paid for the unit, my fees, my truck rental costs, and other things. And so they gave me a bunch of money back, and I gave them their unit back. But I contacted my lawyer and I said, well, what's the legal premise of this? And he says, well, the legal premises is this. If you paid for that unit, it's yours. Whether they were supposed to sell it or not, it is yours. And so we gave that one back. The other one that we got, we didn't even unload it yet. And the owner of the company called me. And I told him, I said, I'll give the unit back, but you're going to give me $5,000 because that unit is well worth more than that because we'd already been in it. And he said, well, all right, I'll give you the $5,000 back. I said, okay, you can have it.
There you
That's
go.
crazy.
Wow.
Doesn't happen often, but it did happen to us.
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine having a storage unit and you're up to payment, you know, you're
Mhm.
up on your payments. You're just, you know, there's just a regular storage unit, you know, maybe have some Christmas stuff, maybe like your old mom stuff that she's passed away and you just want a keepsake. And then you find out that the storage company sold your unit on accident.
I'd be heated. I'd be
Bro.
mad.
Dang.
They're bonded. They have to carry a bond if that happens. The storage facility. Oh, here's another one. I'm sorry. I'm occupying this whole thing. I apologize for that. We bought
These
a
are
unit
fantastic
in Tennessee,
stories. Yeah, we're good.
Alabama.
Keep
We
going.
bought a unit in Alabama, and I go to the unit, and it was $1,500. And the lady says, I can't do this transaction. And I said, okay, why not? I mean, did I lose the unit? Did the person, because before I pay for the unit, they can still get it back. If they called up the facility and they said, okay, we're going to give you $1,000 or whatever, they can keep the unit. But once I pay for it, it's mine. So I'm there, and she said that, and I'm like, well, why not? She goes, we've never done a unit for $1,500 before. So I have to get my manager. And I said, okay. So the manager comes, or the owner of the facility, and he asked me to buy his facility. He says, well, I'll sell you the whole facility for $2.5 million. And I said, I don't have $2.5 million. I said, that's crazy.
That's light work.
Where
for
do
our
I
man
get
Joe.
this thing
That's
that people
Joe.
think
That's Joe.
I'm rich like this? I don't know how it happened, why it happened, but it was like $1,500. And I was like, okay, I've spent more on a lot of units than that. But she said that's the most that we've ever done. But yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
It is crazy. Well, guys, you can find out more of Brian and Tracy's storage unit adventures on their YouTube channel, Jack's Treasures on YouTube, Jack's Treasures on Instagram, and you can buy some of their goods.
Trove.
Jack's Treasures Troves on Instagram. What is it on YouTube? Is it just Jack's Treasures?
It's Jack's Treasures.
Okay. And then follow them on Whatnot. All of their links are going to be listed down below. And
Appreciate that.
anything else for the people, Joey and Brendan?
No. Not
I'm going to
today.
Vegas this weekend. Any advice?
What's that?
I'm going to Vegas this weekend. Any advice?
Oh,
Are you?
Yeah, we were supposed to take my daughter last year, and then Nicole's dad passed away, so we had to cancel. So now her birthday's coming up this Thursday, so we're like, we'll go to Vegas for like
listen,
2 days.
Brian. The man. We usually record on a Tuesday. Today is Monday. He's having a pool party tomorrow. He's He's already had a pool party like over the weekend.
Yesterday.
Had ribs.
Yeah.
Made a ton of ribs. Having another pool party. The man's going to Vegas also this week, and then he's going to Nashville the following week.
Who's that guy? Yeah.
Joe's got powerful friends in high places, and
Not what you know, who you know.
yeah. So are you gonna be going to Vegas and doing what, like 20K a hand when you gambling
No
or what?
comment. No
Yeah,
comment.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Don't those
See Joe in the
casinos-
high roller room
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
as I'm looking in. from
Wearing
the
my crazy
outside.
suit
Yeah,
or something.
right.
You know,
Like
you gotta
this.
wear a suit.
You're gonna wear like a nice white suit with an eye patch.
Well, I'll definitely.
I got one that I can lend you.
Plenty of great
Yeah,
suits
right.
to wear.
Just be like a, what was it, like the Wolverine, the white suit Wolverine?
Yes.
Plain, yeah.
Joe wasn't going there dressed like a Bond villain.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I heard something that like casinos don't have right angles in any of their buildings. Like inside, like you know how like you turn and there's like a sharp turn. Like in a hotel, there's like the wall, you just make a right. And the hotels, they're all like curved, so you're not like making a like conscious decision to like leave or do
I
anything.
didn't know that.
I don't know if that's true or not.
yeah.
Joe, let us know next week if there's
I'll do some
any
studying on that.
right
I wouldn't be
angles inside the
surprised.
casinos.
Joe's gonna come back with like on the next episode next week with like all his gold chains and all his diamond rings and all that. So, yeah.
Joe's either gonna double his wealth or come back broke.
Mm.
I'll be on the street, recording instead.
Yes. So, well, Brian,
There you
thank
go.
you so much for coming on. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Brian.
you.
Yeah, thank you,
guys
Brian.
Thank
for
you
having
so
me. I
much.
appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, catch us next week on another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling. My name is Ray.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Joe.
Brian.
Wait,
Right.
this way. Yeah, there
Right.
you go. Yeah,
We'll get it. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you and God bless. Peace.